Yes, hello, welcome everybody. It's Mod Extra Games and Collectibles, and I'm back again today with another action figure review for you to consume and enjoy. And as you can see on the screen here, I've got the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Magneto to discuss. So stick around, I'm going to get into all the ins and outs, ups and downs as I see them with the figure. I'm going to talk about the aesthetics and what the character looks like, what the visual experience is. I'm going to talk about the articulation, how's he move, how poseable is he, how's he look in display. And then finally, let's talk about the accessories and added value. What extra goodies have Hasbro thrown in with Magneto to enhance our man-child play experience? With all that said and done, it's my hope that by the conclusion of today's review, if you're thinking about picking up a Magneto from the X-Men 97 wave of your own, then my thoughts will help you make your mind up. So stick around, I'll get into the review shortly, but before I do, travel back in time with me as I share the live unboxing, as I crack open Magneto moments after he arrived on my doorstep. So let's do it. Let's travel back in time. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo. All right then, folks, here we go. Here is the Magneto from the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 series, the first wave. Maybe the only wave, but certainly the first wave from that line. We can see here that the packaging is a card-backed package with the artwork on the card back there, and then the blister pack here showing off the figure and the the wealth of accessories that are included with it. All the extra goodies that are really adding to the value. Little bit of cynicism leaking out there that may be a spoiler for some commentary later on in this video, but we can see that the artwork is in the animated series style with the featured character Magneto up the left-hand side there, and then all the other characters in this wave being advertised in the top corner. Speaking of which, if we take a look at the back, we can see the digital render of the figure and then all 6 of the characters included in this wave, along with all the legal bollocks and malarkey across the bottom. And that's it. Not a great deal else to report in terms of the packaging. It's a card-backed, blistered figure. So let's crack him open, shall we? I'm going to get my finger in the little hole, the little gap there, see if I can do a full peel back, shall we see? Oh, it was close. Oh, it was close. All the mint inbox collectors just freaking out right now because look at how I'm destroying that packaging. All right, he's got his cape through the bloody plastic. I hate when they do that. So let's pull that out there. Oh, paperwork. The hands have already fallen out. Oh, man, I find it so annoying when they put the cape through the back of the packaging like that. So let's try and slide him through. Oh, that's not too bad, actually. That was quite painless. And there we go then, folks. There is a Magneto and his hand swap. So I'm going to go away, get a bit of man-child playtime in, get good and hands-on with the figure, pose him up with a few of my other X-Men Marvel Legends, see how I feel about him, and I'll be back with some review thoughts. So stick around. Future Chris is going to be coming at you with some revelations and realizations about Magneto in 3, 2, 1... All right then, folks, aesthetic then, and here's Magneto. I brought him a little bit nearer to the camera so that we can get up close and personal with the visual experience of the character. And yeah, he looks pretty decent, doesn't he, guys? Overall, he's all right. He's got all the kind of signature pieces to his visual identity that makes you go, yep, that's Magneto. There's some nice touches, but there's also some bits that I'm less keen on. Let's get started up here above the shoulders with the helmet. The helmet seems solid enough. It's got the kind of shape and design that you immediately associate with his telepathy defending helmet that he wears. The metallic paint on the purple trimmings is a nice touch, gives it a little bit of depth, a little bit of character. The emblem on the front of the helmet there is a sculpted in piece, so it's got a little bit of dimension to it, a little bit of 3 dimensions to it, although it's not fabulous, but it's all right. And then the face sculpt, yeah, it's a decent face sculpt under here. If I just sort of peel back the corners of the helmet, you can see decent enough face sculpt, looks like Magneto, and then it's got the kind of darkened patches around the eyes just to really finish off the X-Men animated series look and feel of the figure, and presumably he's going to be retaining that image in the new X-Men 97 cartoon. Moving further down into the body, we can see we've got this kind of metal chest plate piece that holds the cape in. in place, and that's all right. That's looking decent enough. It's got the big rivets in it. It's got the slight metallic purple sheen to the core bit that goes around the front there, and then the section that is cape is the other kind of coloured purple. It does clash a bit. The two purples between the neck and the cape aren't massively aligned, although I must admit on camera, glancing at the screen there, they don't look that far apart, but they are in hand. The cape looks good. It's got a nice kind of dynamic swoosh to it, some good curves, and then if we take a look at the back of it, it's got a nice swooshy shape. There's some contour lines in there to make it feel like a flappy cape. I like these kind of pinched in folds and creases as it's clamped down by the chest piece there that holds it across his shoulders, which is a nice touch. Is that soft rubbery type of plastic? It's got a little bit of movement and flexibility in it, so it's not too bad, although soft goods fans might find this a little bit frustrating. The musculature is well sculpted. It's pretty typical superhero musculature. This is a reuse book that we've seen many times before. So you can see the abs and the pecs and the biceps and triceps all bulging and all superhero muscular, while his lycra is pulled tight across his chest. It's a bit shiny. He's got a bit of a case of the old shiny chest syndrome, but that's fine. Then we've got the nice metallic purple paint job across the belt in the middle there, which sits pretty firm. It's got some movement, but I believe it's glued in at the back there. And then we got his underpants over the top of his legs, with some more texture detail in around there, giving it a little bit of depth. And then the musculature on the legs, and then we got the purple trimmings down here by his boots and across his wrists on his forearms. The figure is animated series accurate, so he's got the red hands rather than the purple hands, which is fine by me. I'm not too bothered, but I think some folks, because they're looking to mix this in with their comic book displays, might be a little bit bothered by that. What does bug me about the hands is that they seem a little bit disproportionate, like they're a bit small. He's got a little bit of Donald Trump hand, like mini hands going on. Is that me? I don't know if that's me, but they seem to me like the hands are a little bit small in the open-palmed ones and look a bit weird and disproportionate. It might just be me, but I saw it as soon as I opened up the box. I was like, ooh, little hands, tiny hands. I feel like the hands should be a little bit bigger. I'll just very briefly revisit the colour scheme as well. The good solid colours, the nice vivid animated style colours. No cell shading on this, as is consistent with the rest of the X-Men 97 wave. But the purple is a good purple and the red is a good red, in line according to what your mind's eye, or certainly what my mind's eye recalls in terms of the animated series look. And once again, presumably, how he's going to look, that continuation into the new X-Men 97 series. So, aesthetically speaking, Magneto is a solid thumbs up. He's not blowing the ceiling off, but he's classic Marvel Legends fare. I think he would look good in a comic book display, in a cartoon or animated style display. I think he works across both sides of the divide there. And I'm not one, I mix and match anyway. I'm not one for particular kind of compartmentalization of animated or comic book. I'm happy either way. So yeah, he's decent. He's 90s comic book accurate. He's animated series accurate. He's a good fit, and therefore a thumbs up as far as aesthetic goes. Okay, then let's take a closer look at the articulation on Magneto now then, and let's start above the shoulders here with the head. So we've got really good down, decent up. There's a little bit of tilt and the full 360 swivel, so it's the dumbbell and the neck hinge there that you can see, so good range of motion all around. The helmet obviously obstructs some of the tilting movement and some of the upwards look, but overall very good in that space there. Moving down into the arms, it is a hinge and ball joint, a little peg ball joint in the shoulder here, no butterfly, so we can get up out into the T. You could swivel it all the way around if you didn't have the cape obstructing it there. We've got a swivel here at the top of the bicep and tricep, pinless elbows that get you up to there, and then the pegged in hands here, which give you the swivel. And then as you can see on both of these, the open palm hands, we've got hinges forward and back. Moving down into the torso, you can see the diaphragm cut there, giving us a nice ab crunch forward and a decent ab crunch backwards, although obviously it does that thing where It's not sculpted underneath there. And then he's got a swivel, in the waist, which is nicely disguised by this wide belt across the middle there. Moving down into the legs, we've got decent forward. Barely any back because of the arse sculpt and the cape. Thigh cut there, swivel. Pinless double knee getting you up to there. And then the classic hinge and rocker on the feet there. Giving us a decent range of articulation in the ankle, although it is that old style of foot, which I'm not the biggest fan of. They sometimes, for whatever reason, I find this style of foot makes for a difficult standing experience. So the articulation experience with Magneto is all right. I'm going to give him a thumbs up for it. It's up to Marvel Legends standard, but it is lagging a little bit behind. It's obvious that he's on an older book, the absence of the butterfly joints, the older foot design, and that does affect some of the enjoyment with the figure, although I'd argue the butterfly joint is less necessary if it's not someone who wields, firearms or isn't a crawling type, someone who gets down on all fours for whatever reason, like a beast or something. So it's not too bad. I'm not into these older feet at all. I much prefer the newer design of feet. They just seem more sturdy, easier to pose, and easier to get them in place. But I've managed to get him into some exciting positioning, and you can get the standard superhero stuff going. So yeah, it's a thumbs up with a tentative little bit of small print on there. If you're not into these older feet, that'll probably annoy you. Okay, cool. There's articulation. Let's talk about the accessories. Well, folks, get ready to have your socks knocked off, and I hope you can contain your excitement because Magneto's accessory selection is two hands. Two-fisted hands. He has a hand swap, and that's it. That's your... That's the extent of it. And these are all right. I mean, they peg in. They've got the forward and back hinges, and they can help with some of the type of villainous, expressive positions you're trying to get him into. But that's it. That's your lot. Very short segment, this one. So the accessory selection, I think I'm going to have to give a thumbs down. I mean, hand swaps are great. I love having hand swaps, and as you can see here, I've gone for one of each, and it helps bring the dynamic action pose together that I'm going for. But with a character like Magneto, at minimum, you should have had a swirly magnetic power effect. Just reuse something from, I don't know, like Havoc or whatever. He had a swirly thing, didn't he? Did he? Hang on, hold the phone. I'm going to check.
A few moments later.
Yeah, he totally did. He had loads of swirly effects, and those could have been easily put into a deeper, darker blue to look more magnetic in tone, and you could have thrown them in. In fact, the check on my phone, I've just seen there's a Havoc going, for pretty cheap. I might pick one up just to get the swirly effects to use on my Magneto. So, yeah, at minimum, you should have had something like that. The hand swaps are great, but it falls short, and it's not really giving us added value, is it? So, yeah, it's a bit of an added value accessory fail for this one, I'm sorry to report. Quick figure comparison time now then, folks, and here is the Magneto from the X-Men 97 wave next to the Bishop from the X-Men 97 wave. Putting them next to each other is interesting because Bishop's definitely giving off more of a animated series type vibe, isn't he, in the tone and style and design of the figure comparably. The distinction, the different size of the books, the more bulk on Bishop doesn't bother me because that just seems kind of character accurate, although I do feel like Magneto's perhaps a little bit too svelte and a little bit too skinny by comparison. He should have a little bit more bulk on him, but there he is anyway. Here's Magneto with the VHS Wave Cyclops there. I've turned them both facing that way because I feel like I prefer the body shape on the new book that Cyclops is in to the body shape that Magneto is in. Again, doesn't Magneto look a little bit skinnier round the waist area? Sort of cuts in a bit too soon there by comparison. However, it does look nicer without the cell shading, but there you go. I also, in my mind's eye, imagine Magneto to be a bit taller than he is. I don't know, maybe let me know in the comments down below if that's canonical or in line with your mind's eye, but yeah, he seems a bit short. I don't know. Here's Magneto with fellow animated series, big bad character, Mr. Sinister. This is from the VHS line as well. Cell shading really stands out on this one, doesn't it? And his white face is super glowing under my Lightbox lights. But yeah, there you go. There's two villains in exactly the same pose. I've obviously got a thing about this villainous claw thing that's going on. Clearly an evil preoccupation of mine. And finally, here's old Buckethead Little Hands next to his partner in crime from the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants in the animated continuity, Mystique. This is from the VHS line again. And yeah, they're a decent pairing on the shelf, as well they should be. Although, again, I do feel like the size, the proportions aren't quite right. Like, Magneto should be a bit taller and a bit bulkier next to a character like Mystique. But that said, I do kind of picture her in my mind's eye as being a very athletic and, you know, I mean, she's a super highly trained, shape-changing assassin type. So I suppose she could be as small or as short as she wants to be, can't she? But yeah, I don't know. Putting him next to Mystique like that definitely makes me feel like he's a little bit not as broad and bulky and tall as maybe he should be. Not up to Bishop's size, but maybe up to Cyclops's. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? But you know, I'm not precious about it. It's just sharing thoughts. All right then, folks. Well, here's Magneto making his way around on the turntable. I'm probably going to stick to some sort of, you know, villainous pose like that. Those metallic bits of trimming on his helmet are reflecting my light, aren't they? Let's see if I can do something about that. Anyway, yeah, my lights are reflecting off his shiny helmet. Oh, Magneto, you and your shiny helmet. Stop shining your helmet, son. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, so in conclusion, he's solid. He's a solid figure. I wanted a Magneto for the collection. My Brotherhood of Evil Mutants figures were lacking leadership. Mystique does all right, but, you know, we all know, folks, Magneto was right, you know. And I didn't really want the Family Values triple pack, and so he's good enough. He's solid. He's filling a gap, and that's fine. The feet, the absence of butterfly joints is all right. He seems just a bit smaller and a bit slimmer than I might have ideally liked, but he fills a gap. He's filling a void, and he looks like Magneto. He is Magneto. He's doing what I need him to do, and he looks great on a flight stand. So, yeah, solid. Just all-round solid. If you're looking for that character to fill a gap as I was doing, then he's ideal for you. And, you know, the other day I dug out my Pyro, and I got my Toad out, although he doesn't look great. Actually, I should have done that in the comparison, but Toad's in a box right now. I dug out my 20th anniversary Toad. They weren't a great match, to be honest. But yeah, I was taking photos, got my new blob out. It was awesome. So all round, he's just an all round like lump of solid Marvel Legend. You know, he's just like, doof, there you go, there's some Marvel Legend, and he's in the character colours spandex that you want, you know, and that's that. So nothing more or less to add than that. So there we are. Well, I hope if you are thinking about picking up an X-Men 97 Magneto, this has helped you in some way. If it has, then please take a moment to give us a thumbs up, like, and if you're not already subscribed, get yourself subscribed to the channel. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much for hanging around. It's been a pleasure having you, and I hope to see you around these parts again sometime soon. And oh, damn it, he's facing away from the camera again. I can never quite get this ending right, ladies and gents. So let's all just enjoy the cape as I fade out to my screen, where the YouTube algorithm is going to suggest another video of mine you might like. So maybe give that a go. All right, ta-ra then.